When I was 16 years old, I had this opportunity to compete at a state business plan competition for entrepreneurship. And so I was 16. I didn't have that much experience. So the only thing I could come up with was this idea for a food truck. It was called the Sizzling Ninja.
What? How
Yeah,
is
it
that
was.
not a thing right now, by the way?
I know, but if I were to own a restaurant, I'd be like a third or fourth generation restaurant owner. So it was kind of like, okay,
Yes.
that's what I'll create. So I come up with this business plan competition. I ended up taking first place in state, and I found out that I get to go to this international competition. So I take first place. I'm so excited. I'm on a high, but the next day I meet with my advisor, and she's talking to all the other people that have the qualified to go to the international competition that place in state. And she slides the itinerary across the desk, and it has all the details of the trip. And I'm like leafing through it, and I'm super excited. And then my heart just sinks when I get to the end of it, because it shows the total of the cost of the trip. It's $1,080.50 or something like that. And of course, my mind is like, I don't know how I can afford that. Like, I'm working $7.25 scooping custard at the local. For those that are not Wisconsinites, there's a big difference between custard and ice cream. So it was a custard place, but I knew that I couldn't, like, that was going to be a tough thing to do. So my dad came to the rescue, and he says, I know somebody that might be able to help you fundraise for the trip. And so this is where it kind of starts tying into like the connection stuff. But he introduced me to this person named Brenda Campbell. I don't know what the heck she saw in me. Again, I was 16 years old. My email address was asianninja221@gmail.com. So but I must have shown something to her, because she taught me something that totally transformed my life. And she said, Brandon, if you ask for money, you'll get advice. But if you ask for advice, you'll get money. And I'm like, okay, well, that sounds interesting. And like, I don't really quite understand what that means. And she's like, let me show you what that means. So what she actually did is she took me under her wing, and she said, I'm going to introduce you to people in my network, and I want you to ask for feedback on your business plan. And then once you're done asking for feedback on your business plan, ask them if they'd be willing to contribute to your trip. And so she makes all these introductions to me. I ended up connecting with some of these people. One person donates $100, another person donates $100, and 2 weeks left for me to go to pay for this trip, and I'm $500 short. And Brenda tells me, I forgot to introduce you to Kevin Kowalski. And so he's this local entrepreneurship mastermind kind of guy. And so she introduces me to him. I do the same thing, give him my business plan, finish up, and he asks me, Brandon, how much do you have left to pay for the trip? And I said, well, the trip's in like 2 weeks. I'm like $500 short. And so he pulls out his checkbook and he writes something on the check, and I don't want to be rude, so I'm not staring or anything like that. He puts it in an envelope and says, good luck. And then I walk out the door. Of course, the first thing I do is I rip open that thing, and I found out that I get to go to the international competition. And
Wow.
so that was a huge light bulb moment. First of all, seeing the trust that people saw in me, but also that is when I learned about the power of connection, that there are better ways to do things if you learn how to connect with the right people. And so that was when Brenda opened the doors to me to start connecting with some super high level people starting at age 16. And I didn't place at the international competition, but that lesson of learning how to develop those relationships was the most incredible thing I could have learned. And so going back to your initial question about the high school years, that was when I started experimenting. It was like I used high school and college as a laboratory. And I kind of always did this thing where I viewed being young as an advantage. Most people view it as a disadvantage, but I truly believe that anybody that is super successful loves contributing to the next generation. And if you are willing
Yes.
to show up, add value, be grateful for the value that these people provided you, you will be blown away by like the generosity and care of some people, especially if you take that heart-centered approach of being grateful for everything that they're doing to support you.